Hello, 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 and welcome back to
A Little Birdie Told You.
I'm your host, Kristen Knight.
And I'm your host, Kelly Knight. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about what we consider cheating and just like in general, what we could like think about cheating, I guess. And the only reason why we're talking about this is because I came across a little Instagram reel. We're not going to be saying names, but that person was saying, some of the things they consider cheating, and I disagree with some of it, and I think we should talk about that today.
And we're going to clarify our versions of cheating and our opinion on cheating. So let's start with the obvious cheating, which I think is physical cheating.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're dating somebody, and this is if you're dating somebody, I mean, you're exclusive with this person. Cheating is not when you're like, I don't believe in cheating in the talking stage because you're not exclusive with that person.
Because there's like ways that can go. Some people like think you should only be talking to one person, and I get that. But like also like
I think you have to clarify with that person.
Exactly.
Like communication is key. And this applies to cheating. When you're in a relationship with someone and they're trying to tell you, oh, that's cheating. And you're like, no, it's not. This isn't cheating. Communicate with that person. Come to a level of agreement where you understand what they see as cheating and you know what you see as cheating. So they can say, okay, I get where you're coming from. I understand you, and set some sort of foundation for what you see as cheating. But when you're in the talking stage, if you're like talking to other people, I wouldn't consider that cheating because you're not exclusive with that person unless that person has verbally communicated to you that what they see with this and their intention with this is to just talk to you and they want you to reciprocate that. So physical cheating is like hugging.
That's like
okay, hugging, not hugging.
I feel like that's in the scale of like there's nothing
if you're
really
friends
wrong
with
that.
them, you can hug somebody. But I think if it's like a romantic hug, like constantly
Or if
every
it's like,
time
yeah,
you see
so I was
them,
about to say if it's like every time you see them,
like
that's different. If you like all of a sudden like you haven't seen them in a long time,
Yeah,
like I could
of
see
course.
that, but like every time that's a little weird.
Yeah, if like you have like say if you're dating someone and they have like a friend of the gender they're attracted to and they go over and they're always hugging them or like constantly, how people like hug each other and you're like, what's going on here? And it gives off that vibe that's like a little bit like this is questionable. Now kissing, don't.
I mean that's like straight up.
I mean
obvious.
this is what we're talking about, the signs. Like you shouldn't be kissing somebody if you're in a relationship, someone else that's
I mean
not
I know
the
there's
person
like
you're
some
dating,
religions that like do.
Yeah, they kiss each other on the cheek. Like, is that considered cheating? Would you consider kissing
If
on the cheek
that's your religion,
cheating?
then you do you. But I mean, I guess that wouldn't really be considered cheating. But
I don't see that as cheating. As long as you're not kissing someone on the lips.
yeah, as long as it's not on the lips, then yeah.
And I think even if it's like a dare, I don't know. I don't, as some younger people may like do dares like that. And if that's something you're doing, I think, yeah, it's disrespectful. And I wouldn't participate in that because I think that's cheating. Like cuddling, holding hands, those types of things, those are obvious signs of cheating. So if you're doing that, I would say you're cheating if you're in an exclusive relationship and you have a significant other.
Like even if you're best friends, like in like for instance, like I don't know, whatever, it's the opposite gender and you're like holding hands with them, is like maybe it's like your best like guy friend or your best girlfriend. Like I really honestly, I just think that's a little like
I don't agree with
iffy.
that.
Like, I don't think that's okay.
I think when people cuddle with their friends, like if you're not in a relationship and you're doing that, that's up to you if that's your personal preference. But if you're dating somebody and the person you're like cuddling with is not your significant other,
that's a little weird.
I don't agree with that. I see that as cheating because that's just a little odd to me. Now those I feel like are the obvious signs. What about if you have like a guy friend, or like say you have a guy friend and you're a girl and you're hanging out with him one-on-one, is that cheating?
I would say no. Like as long as
so?
your intentions are just to be friends with that person, and like I think it's like a good thing to like go over with like maybe your boyfriend or your girlfriend, like the opposite gender, like be like, these are just friends and I want you to know that, so like you have trust on both sides. But like I don't see anything wrong with it as long as you're not like, as long as it's not like a date or anything. Like there's nothing wrong with like hanging out alone with each other as long as that's just like your mindset, knowing that you're just friends with that person.
No, I believe you should include your significant other. Like if you're going out with one of your guy friends and you're a girl, or if you're a guy and you're going out with one of your girlfriends, you should invite your significant other. I think if you're going alone, or at least make them aware, because I don't know, that's a bit odd. If you're always hanging out with that person alone and not like in a group, I would find that a little bit like just absurd, because it'd be like, why are you not inviting your significant other? In my opinion, I think if you have your own friends, that's fine. But I also believe, why are you hanging out with that person alone constantly? I mean, I don't know if I agree with that totally. I think that could be cheating, but I think it's your intentions, and I think you have to have trust in your partner and have that trust and understanding that that's just a friend and that is a friend. Because if someone's trying to hide their friendship from you, saying they're not telling you they're hanging out with that person and they're going out with that person alone, and then you find out, you're like, well, why didn't you tell me you're with them? Then there's a reason they're hiding that. So that's why it would be a little bit concerning. So then that's when I would
Yeah.
consider it cheating. But if they're aware of it and they're like, oh, yeah, that's fine.
I would just talk it through with your significant other. Like, and just go through of being like, these are just friends and like I'm going to hang out with them. And obviously, if you don't have trust, then it's probably not going to work out.
Okay, what about texting? Like a guy, if you're a girl and you have a boyfriend, or texting a girl if you're a guy, do you think that's considered cheating?
Now, if you're flirting, I would
Yeah.
say that's considered cheating. But if you're just like talking normal, I feel like maybe it'd be like a little weird if like you were saying like good morning or something like every morning, because that's like a little like
Yeah, it's a bit.
But like
it's a bit
anything
suspicious.
other than that, like if you're just texting like hi or something and it's just like going into a conversation and like nothing's flirty, that's fine.
I don't think there's anything. Some of these people out here think that if you're texting a
Yeah,
guy
like
or girl,
some like guys and some girls think like completely like their other like significant other has to like completely stop talking to like guys or girls when they get in relationships, especially like snapping and stuff. Like
I don't think you should be doing that. I don't think you should tell your significant other to stop talking to people, because let me tell you one thing. If you tell them to stop talking to people, you're like, you can't
it makes them want to.
Yeah, it makes them want to. They're going to do the opposite thing, because then they feel like their privileges are being like revoked and they're not allowed to do anything that they want. That's like I'm telling you, like imagine you're dating somebody and they're like, you can't talk to any more boys. Like you can't talk to any guys at all. And then you're like, why? And they're like, they obviously they don't trust you.
Or either they're insecure.
Yeah, or they're insecure. Why am I going to date somebody that's insecure in themselves and doesn't want me talking to people? You have to trust me and trust that I'm with you. If I wanted to be with them, I would be with them. I'm with you. I'm exclusive with you. So don't worry about that. And now if you're out here flirting with them and you're like sending flirtatious texts and it's a little bit suspicious, then I would consider that disrespectful or cheating, depending on the severity of the text.
What do you think about like people like exchanging like in a relationship like passwords to social media?
Oh, I don't agree with that. I think that you should have your own
I
privacy.
think it's a little weird, no offense, but like if somebody like is that concerned about who you're talking to, obviously like I don't really think you should be in a relationship with them, because it's like in a relationship you should have 50-50 like trust. And if it's not, then obviously you're not the right people for each other.
You shouldn't be with them, because I think that you should trust your partner enough to say I'm going to let you do you, but if you do something to screw it up, then like you like that thing always comes up.
See, like I guess it's different if you give them like your password to your phone, because maybe if there was an emergency, like they need to get in your phone or something.
Understandable.
But like social media, you're kind of like going a little far with that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think that's too controlling. Like you're trying to control the people you're talking to. I think you need to have your own privacy in a relationship. It should be two independent people like building something together. And that doesn't mean that you need to have all my, information, know every person I'm talking to.
Yeah.
I understand if your partner is like, I'm uncomfortable with this. I'm uncomfortable with you having a bunch of guy friends or you having a bunch of friends that are girls. That's understandable. And, you can reveal to them, yeah, these are just friends, or, meet them, talk to them, understand them. They're just my friends. And you have to understand that. But if you're making your partner uncomfortable intentionally, that's cheating. Like, I think if you're trying to put yourself in a position to make your partner jealous and constantly hang out with your friends of the opposite gender, the gender you're attracted to, that is considered cheating in my book. I think that's disrespectful. You shouldn't intentionally try to make your partner jealous. I think that's cheating.
What do you think about like, just in general, like if a guy or a girl like likes an opposite gender of like somebody's post on any social media?
Oh, so liking someone's like Instagram post
Yeah.
or anything. So this is a bit controversial, because I know some people are gonna be like, well, it's just a friend. Like I'm allowed to like it.
The way I look at it is like, for instance, if it's a guy or a girl, whatever, and in general, we'll just use a guy as an example. If you're like over here liking another girl's post, why do you need to like her post? Like the one you should be supporting is your girlfriend.
I agree with that. I think you should be supporting
Like
your girlfriend.
what's the point? Why do you like? I mean, it's like who cares if you're following them, but it's like honestly, it's
Now,
just,
do you
like,
mean just like casual posts of like your friends, or just posts of like any woman or man or
I don't
guy
know.
or
It's
girl?
like it kind of goes like both ways to an extent, but I would say like in general, like a lot of like bikini photos and stuff. That's like you're like really like okay, that's like being flirtatious. Like that's a little
I could agree
weird.
with that, because I do see where you're coming from. You should be supporting your partner. Why do you need to be liking someone else's post when you could be liking your partner's posts and hyping them up and making them feel
Exactly.
supported because you're in a relationship with them? I don't think that's cheating. I think that's just disrespectful, because I don't want to say that's cheating unless
It's not cheating. It's just like why are you doing that?
yeah, I think it's disrespectful. That goes the same way if you're staring at someone in public because you find them attractive and you're with your partner and they're kind of like, wow, like you're checking them out, you're staring at them. That's disrespectful. Now, I understand we're human beings and we make mistakes and we have flaws, but if you're consciously doing that and intentionally doing that, it's just disrespectful. But that's like sliding in someone's DMs now. Like, say you liked that picture and you slid in their DMs.
Yep,
that's cheating. Because you looked at the person, you're like, okay, they're attractive. And then you slid in their DMs. Why are you sliding in their DMs to talk to them? Obviously, what's your intention with that? That's what the main concern is what's your intention? That's when you know it's cheating. Because if your intention is, oh, let's see where this can go, like, where can this go romantically? Like, what's going to happen here?
That's straight up cheating.
That tells me that's cheating. And it's intention. I think that's...
Like, there's, like, 3 factors
cheating.
here. It's, like, cheating or just, like, in general, like, being disrespectful. Like, it's just, like...
And then not cheating.
Exactly.
So, but I think there's a lot of ways you could be disrespectful. I even think if you slid in their DMs in, like, a friendly manner after liking their post, I would consider that cheating if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, because
honestly, the only reason, like, I feel like it's like you shouldn't be really texting anybody of the opposite gender unless they reach out to you. If I'm gonna be honest, unless like you're like all getting together as a group or something, that's
or you're
different.
Friends with them.
Yeah, but like in general, anybody else, I feel like that's just like a little weird.
Okay, now what if somebody flirts with you and you're in a relationship and maybe they reach out to you and you answer back and you're like, oh, I'm just doing it to be nice. You shouldn't
answer them back. Like, I feel like you should just ignore it. Like, if you have a boyfriend or you have a girlfriend, why do you need to open that up and answer that? You already know, like, you're in a relationship with somebody. What's the point of opening it?
If you're satisfied.
Like, you don't need to confirm that to them.
If you're satisfied and you're fulfilled that you're in a relationship, there's no need to be entertaining any other woman.
Like, you don't need to answer them back and be like, right? Oh, I have a boyfriend, I have a girlfriend. Like, okay, you don't even need to answer them then. Like, you know they're going to continue talking to you.
You don't need to entertain them. If you're satisfied and you value the person you're with and you don't want to put yourself in a position to lose that person, then I wouldn't be sitting out here DMing other girls or guys and trying to, even if you're like, oh, it's just a friend. Like, I was just trying to get to know them as a friend.
Why are you trying to get to know them?
Yeah.
You got a boo over there. What's the point?
Yeah, why are you trying to get to know them? That's the question. Ask yourself that. And I think, like Kelly said, liking someone's post and commenting on it. I think if it's your friend and you're friends with them, I wouldn't necessarily say that's cheating, because if you were friends with somebody before you started dating someone,
if it's like a random girl or something,
now that's,
and you're like hyping her up or you're liking her like post or like her stories or something, that's just a little weird.
Yeah, that's a bit odd. But I think if it's one of your friends, and see, this is another problem I have, is some people are like, oh, it's cheating if you like hang out with your friends of the opposite gender. But what if those people were there for you before that person came? The way I
look at it is, like, in general, like, this is even like the talking stage too. Like, I don't know, like, I don't even know, like, it's just like in general, like, if you're gonna sit there and like be like, oh yeah, like, I don't want you like talking to those people like before me or something. Like, those people are there for you first.
Exactly.
So it's like,
and if that person decides they're just gonna drop you and move on and leave you stranded, and you gave up your friends for that person, who are you gonna go to? Exactly. In the end, you're going to have no one to go to. So you should be there for your friends and balance your friendships and balance your relationship.
Like, some people are like, oh yeah, like I feel like a lot of, like, this might be, like, I feel like a lot of girls are like this. I mean, I'm like, I don't know if guys are like this, but, like, some girls would be like, oh yeah, like, I really like this guy. And then they stop talking to their friends, and then that guy dumps them, and then they have no friends because they just, like, completely, like, dip them. Which is wrong.
And then they think that's considered cheating.
Like, in a relationship, I don't think you're having a healthy relationship with your friends or with the person you're with if you're not having 50-50, being like, you're splitting up time to be with your significant other and your friends. Because it's like, that's wrong. Yeah, just because you like somebody and they came in your life or whatever does not mean you need to give up your friends for them.
And then if they're saying that you have to give up your friends because it's considered cheating if you have a bunch of guy friends,
then they're not the right person.
And then they're saying, oh, that's cheating. I don't think that's cheating. You can have guy friends as long as the intentions there are friendships.
And honestly, you should know your worth. Like, if you have to speak your mind and tell them that you still want to be friends with those people, and they're gonna like sit there and be like, well, I'm gonna break up with you, let them.
Yeah,
because they're not the right person.
And if someone's out here and they're cheating on you and they're doing things that are disrespectful, let them go. Don't even sit there and try to convince them
Don't be giving them second chances. If they really liked you and they really cared, they would be like, well, you're the only one that I really want to be seeing. Yeah, and they wouldn't put themselves in a position to lose you. If they really valued you and they truly valued you, they're not going to be out here cheating on you and seeing other people and trying to entertain other guys or girls or just trying to get with other guys or girls, because that's cheating. That's why are you going to do that when you have what you want right in front of you? If you truly value that, you wouldn't put yourself in a position to lose that. What's another example of cheating? I think, like you said, anything with social media. So say you talk to people on social media, like, you know, all the different social media apps, and you're sitting there and you're entertaining guys, but maybe you just look at them as friends. Do you think you should stop talking to guys if you get in a relationship, like, as friends? Like people you've talked with, like, actually talking?
What should you do if someone's doing that? Is that cheating?
Okay, for instance, like if you were talking like to like a couple of like guys or girls before you got in a relationship with that person, I would honestly like kind of either like if you want to stay friends with that person because maybe you were like friends with them before, I would be like, okay, I would definitely talk it through and be like, okay, like I'm in a relationship now, like we're just friends, like nothing more, and like I'm with this person now, so like we're not talking anymore. But like if you were like only talking with that person and like they're still flirting with you, I honestly would just kind of like not ghost them, but I would kind of just like be neutral and just kind of like back away a little bit.
Set some boundaries.
Exactly, because if they're not like listening to you or whatever, like I would honestly be like, okay, yeah, no.
Okay, now what if someone hangs out with their ex? Is that considered cheating?
If they're just like, it depends on the timing that like maybe they broke up, because like if you like just broke up with that person and you're in a relationship and you're like still hanging out with that person, you obviously still have feelings for them if you really like them. So it's like I would be a little concerned about that. Like why do you always want to bring that person around?
I would consider that cheating a bit.
But like if it's been like a year or more, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're like still friends and you just have a friendship, like I would even like consider telling your significant other like that was my ex, but we're just friends, because honestly it gives that person more trust to be like, okay, well obviously you're just friends because you told me before I even asked.
I feel like from observance though, you can tell if someone's just friends with
now,
someone.
Like, what are they like? What happens if like they're like touching all over that person?
Then I would be a little bit concerned, because I would be concerned that they have feelings for that person, and then I would be like, this is a bit disrespectful, this is somewhat cheating, and then you don't know what that person's doing behind your back. But like I said, I would communicate with your partner to find out what's going on here. But usually if you have like people have a gut feeling that their partner's cheating, I would follow your gut feeling. And if you're like, they're like, oh, they're just a friend, it's just a friend,
but like you have friends telling you that like they're like talking or flirting with them,
or you just have this little nudge telling you that there's a possibility they're seeing this person and you don't trust that it's just a friend, you're probably correct, and chances are that they are cheating on you. Or in the future
they're going to end up cheating on you. So it's like...
Because you always see that where people are like, oh, they're just a friend. It's just a friend. But you have this nudge telling you, I don't think it's just a friend. The way that they act and the way they talk to that person, it's a bit suspicious. Now, if someone's hiding their phone from you, and they're getting texts from the gender they're attracted to, like a guy's getting texts from a girl, and he's like, oh, it's just a friend, and you're like, oh, can I see what you guys are talking about? He's like, oh, no, it's private. And then he's telling you you're violating his privacy because it's his friendships. How do you feel about that? Do you consider that cheating?
I wouldn't say, like, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's fine to have, like, your, like, other person or, like, have your, like, phone password. Like, but, like, in general, like, if you're hiding your phone, that's, like, a little weird. Like, I think it's fine if, like, you go on your, like, significant other's, like, phone or whatever just to, like, mess around or whatever. But, like, it comes to the point if they're hiding texts or something, that's, like, a little suspicious.
Well, I think everyone deserves a significant amount of privacy in their life. But if your partner's expressing this, like, uncomfortable sense that you're doing something behind their back and they're communicating to you that they're uncomfortable, if you appreciate them and you care about them and you care about their well-being, you're going to say, I'm going to make sure that you feel at peace and this isn't bothering you, okay? But I think if someone's hiding their phone and they're hiding their texts from you, there's this, they're hiding something. You don't just hide your phone to hide nothing. There's something to hide. So if they're hiding texts from you, there's something to hide. So that would tell me that there's something that they don't want me to see on there. And I would be a little bit concerned about that. So I would consider that cheating. I feel like the well-known signs of cheating, though, is definitely physical. But that's like a mental aspect of cheating. And I think if someone cheats on you, that's it. I think you should end it right then and there. I don't think you should sit there and entertain them anymore in a relationship, because they just basically devalued you as a person, and I think you should move on from them, because
what
someone
if they
out there
have like a really close like they're like another like the opposite gender, like a really close best friend that like they like vent to?
That's a bit controversial, because if you have a friendship that is extended a certain amount of time, I think that there's a level of trust there, and I think it's someone you trust, but I think it's your intentions with that person. And if you have an emotional connection to somebody, a gender that you're attracted to, I don't think that it's considered cheating, as long as there's no romantic attachments involved and there's nothing romantic going on.
Like, I don't know. Because it's like the person, like,
how would you feel if you were dating somebody and he had a friend, a girl that was his friend, and he vented to her and didn't vent to you? How would you feel about that?
See,
and he
to be honest,
to her
the way I look
problems.
at it is the person you're dating should be your best friend. Exactly. And that's the person you should be venting to. Like, before you get in a relationship, sure, maybe you need somebody that, like, needs to give you some advice, but like after that, if you're with somebody, like I would not be venting anything, like any of your like things like with that person to anybody else.
Okay, but what if they just like, that's a childhood friend and they happen to vent to them and they were like, oh, it's like a sister to me?
I don't know. The only person I would be venting to is either the person you're dating or your siblings or like cousins or something. No, like nothing past that, to be honest.
With girls, the problem is we're more emotionally connected to somebody. We become more emotionally invested in someone, and that's where the attraction comes from, at least from experience. Like, I feel like you're more emotionally connected to somebody. Guys, I feel like it's more of a physical attraction. Like, physical attraction is what provokes them to cheat. I feel like women, it's like we have to have an emotional need, or girls, you have to have an emotional need to somebody and feel like there's this emotional attachment. And I feel like that's what allows us to cheat, or would provoke us to cheat. But I feel like you don't need to cheat if you're already satisfied. So if you're out here cheating, you're obviously not satisfied in your relationship. And I think you should end a relationship if you're not satisfied with that.
If somebody cheats with you once, like we've already said this before, once a cheater, always a cheater. But like if somebody cheats with you once, don't be sitting there giving them like a second chance or being like, oh yeah, they give you like this whole talk being like, oh, I'm so sorry. Why'd they do it in the first place?
Yeah, why'd you do it in the first place? You could have ended this. We could have ended this, and you could go do whatever you want. I don't care if you want to go see some other people. Go on out there and go see other people. We're done. We don't need to be here together anymore. That's the way I look at it. You had your chance with me. Obviously, you don't care about me enough, because if you cared about me, you'd care about my feelings. You wouldn't be out here cheating on me. So I don't think you should be with me. I think that you need to go and explore your other options and figure out, I'm not going to be one of your options.
Yeah.
And you can go out there and you can explore other people and figure out what you want. And obviously it's not me. So you can go ahead and go figure that out yourself. So I think if someone's cheating on you, let them go. Do not sit there and keep entertaining them. Let them go. And if you are planning on cheating on someone, end the relationship with the person.
Yeah, if you like somebody else, honestly, just tell your other person. It's like, what's the point?
That's another one, is if you like someone else and you're in a relationship with them and you feel you're obligated to stay in that relationship, but you secretly have feelings for someone else, is that cheating?
I would talk it through with your other person, because it's like, what's the point? Why are you hiding? Like, what's the point? Just say it so, like, they're not as hurt. Because it's like, what's the point of, like, sitting there just, like, cheating on them and then they're even more hurt?
Communication is key in a relationship.
Yeah.
Communicate what cheating means to you and allow your partner to communicate what cheating means to them, so you guys can understand each other. Because everyone has different definitions of cheating. And what we might have said is cheating, you might look at them like, that's not cheating. Or you might look at it and be like, that is definitely cheating. And I might have said it wasn't cheating. You know, you might look at that and be like, I don't agree with that. And that's exactly why we wanted to say kind of our ideas on this. And I think that communication is always going to be one of the fundamental components of a relationship. If you cannot communicate these things to your partner, then you're probably going to have some problems in the future with them, if I'm going to be honest.